Hello scrappers and planet lovers, Tin Man here with another video. So one of my viewers asked me a question regarding oven cords and dryer cords and if they were worth stripping or leaving them intact. These are easy to recognize. They are the thick cords, really nice thick bunch of copper inside of that, some really nice heavy brass plug ends. And what I've done to answer that question is an experiment using 4 cords. I've weighed them intact, I've weighed them after stripping the outer coating, and then I finally weighed them with the brass prongs out of it and the clean copper to show you the difference in profit and to answer if it is worth it for you or to strip or not to strip. So the first thing I do want to point out is there are different types of cords that you're going to find. Some of them, once you remove the outer coating, you will find some that have 3 coated copper wires like that and 1 clean copper wire. The other strand that I had was actually 4 insulated copper strands like this. So for this experiment, to make it even, I used 2 of each. So hopefully that will make it a little bit easier to get a better estimate from this experiment. If I was to bring this in as is, I'm going to get 40% copper recovery. I can actually leave the head on there with the brass. And what a scrapyard looks at when we talk about 40% copper recovery, there is 2 categories, 40% and 60%. And what the scrapyard are looking at is copper recovery and plastic to copper ratio. The more plastic, the less copper, so the less value. And because this has an outer coating of plastic as well as copper wires inside that have their own plastic covers, there is less copper. So this as is would be 40% copper recovery and currently going for $1.23 a pound Canadian. I just checked the prices. It's August 22nd right now. It has gone down a little bit. So I said current price is $1.23 for this. After weighing all 4 cords together, I had a total of 5 3/4 pounds at 40% copper recovery times $1.23 a pound. I made $7.07 just from bringing it in its entirety. The second step, or part of my experiment, as I said, I've removed the outer casing, the black casing. I was left with just the strands. Now, because the outer casing is removed, there is more copper recovery. So this would be upgraded to 60% copper recovery. And that currently right now is going for $2.03 a pound. So obviously about 80 cents or 70 cents more for the copper. And the nice thing is too, is after removing the wire, I still had the plug ends. The plug ends, if I did not remove the brass, I can still throw these into my 40% copper recovery, and I did factor that into the experiment because there is still some copper inside of that. So once I removed the outer coating, I got 2.9 pounds of this wire at 60% copper recovery times $2.03 a pound. It gave me $5.89 a pound. The heads, as I said, once I removed the wire, I have 1.25 pounds of the heads at 40% copper recovery times $1.23 a pound. I make $1.54 for the heads. As well, because I had 2 wires that had the clean copper here, this would be classified as number 2 copper. And some people might say, well, it looks like bare bright. The rule is, in order for this to be classified as bare bright, the individual strands or wires have to be thicker than 16 gauge, which is the thickness of the lead of a pencil. Because if I bring this up there, these are individual strands. They are not thicker than 16 gauge. Yes, combined it is, but it is based on the thickness of each individual strand. So this is number 2 copper. And currently number 2 copper is going for $4.19 a pound Canadian, which is still great. Once I took these 2 out, I weighed them and I had 1/4 pound of number 2 copper at times $4.19. I got $1.05 for these 2 strands. So the grand total of just removing the black casing, I made $8.48. So $1.41 more. My last part of my experiment was to strip the entire thing. I do have a wire stripper, and as you can see, a really nice hunk of number 2 copper. I do want to caution you that some of the wires, they're very thin, and if you are to put it all together, you do want to maybe wear gloves because these wires are sharp and you don't want to get a sliver from this. It's very painful. So I did use a pair of gloves to put it together. And again, this is all going as number 2 copper. One of my viewers, another one suggested a great thing was why not melt or eventually melt all your number 2 into some copper ingots, up the value to number 1. And for me, that is definitely something that is a possibility in the near future, especially with number 2 copper, upping it to 1. But again, number 2 copper at $4.19, that is a great price right now. So once I factored that in, as well as I removed the brass prongs, as you can see, some really nice brass. This is yellow brass. This is currently going for $2.97 a pound. And I do actually have a video taking the brass prongs out of these. So if you're interested, go check that out. Very easy to do. As I said, I just on the other video, down the side there, and I will pry them out. I still can leave this into my 40% copper recovery because, as I said, there's still copper inside of there. There is still some brass. So these are not going to be thrown in the garbage, even with the parts of brass removed. So the grand total, once all of this is stripped, this unfortunately is going to the garbage. I had 2.15 pounds of number 2 copper at $4.19 a pound. Gives me $9.01. My brass ends, I had 6 ounces at $2.97 a pound. It gave me $1.04 for the brass. And as stated, the heads at 1.25 pounds at 40% recovery, $1.23. I get about $1.54 a pound for those. So the grand total, $11.90. So I make about $4.83 more from stripping it than leaving it as is. So in my opinion, it is very well worth it. It does not take very much time to strip these. As I said, it takes each one of these strands was one quick pass through the wire stripper, peeled out the copper. As I said, great source of copper in here. I still have all my brass, clean brass. These are still going into my 40% copper recovery. So in my opinion, making almost $5 on that, taking me 20 minutes to do, well worth my time. So hopefully that answered the question. Please comment down below, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video. Tin Man out.